Well. Look what we have here.
Well. John Wick.
I've been waiting for this moment. I swear to God, I just want like the next movie to be like John Wick lands on the moon.
John Wick, Chapter 4,
Wick.
Moon Landing. That'd be kind of amazing.
Absolutely amazing.
I'd be about that.
Lands in Antarctica. John Wick.
It's a penguin approaching him.
I'm obviously a big fan of anything that is... It's just like, it's partly why I like Roadhouse so much.
Yeah.
It's like in Roadhouse, anytime he goes anywhere... Dalton, I've heard of you. Like, yes, you've heard of this bouncer from the middle of Kansas or New York, wherever he starts off from. Dalton? Yeah, I've heard of you.
I know who you
Best
are.
bouncer in all these lands. Welcome, everyone. Happy New Comic Book Day.
Woo!
We got all sorts of fun stuff to talk about today.
So much.
Lots of books, as always.
Yeah.
Lots of books. It's a big week for books. Not as many War of the Realms tie-ins this week, but there were still some good ones that I'd love to talk about. And some good DC books came out.
Yeah.
I checked out some indies. Last week we had so many comics that came out. I promised you I would read all of them and I can talk about them this week, and I did. I actually did. I read all of them, and some of them were really great. Some of them were not good.
It's about 50-50. Okay.
Some of them were okay. Some of them were pretty good. It's fine. You know, it's a mix. It's always a mix.
Yeah.
It's always a mix.
Mixed bag.
So we are going to just get into it, I guess. Why don't we start off with just general... little bit of news, things going on, stuff going on in our life. I mean, this is a chance for us to just, we're going to talk to you guys. We're going to hang out. We're going to have some fun.
Guys, I've already had 2 cups of coffee, so I'm going with water today.
This is number 4.
You are crazy.
I had one this morning when I first woke up. I sat outside.
Yeah.
I read a couple books this morning. It's one of my favorite things to do, sit outside before the sun gets up in the air, drink some coffee, read some comics. And then I went and had lunch at Vegetable.
Sure did.
So good. It's literally the best.
So good.
I had smoky barbecue potato sandwich.
Sweet potato barbecue sandwich.
And then Adam, for dessert, they had their peanut butter ice cream.
Isn't it amazing?
With a hot brownie.
My God. And it's very simple, the recipe. It's like 3 things. It's like peanut butter, sugar, and like ice or something.
You asked them?
Hell yeah, I asked them.
I don't know how they make it. It's witchcraft.
It's literally 3 ingredients.
Dairy-free. It's dairy-free,
Yeah.
and it is the creamiest and smoothest dairy-free peanut butter ice cream I've ever had. And it is just, it's butter.
Yeah.
It's fucking
It's
butter.
3 ingredients. I forget exactly what it is, but we asked the... every time I go with Emily, it's very empty. We're like the last ones in there. So she's very
really
talkative.
Slow lately.
Yeah.
It bums me out.
I know. It's such a good place.
We go in there
so
for
good.
lunch all the time now, and we're usually the only people in there.
Yeah.
I go in to read
it's so
comics.
good.
It's like my Wednesday thing now. I go in, I read comic books, and I also get a French press. And I drink. So this is cup 4.
You son of a bitch.
This is cup 4.
Yeah, I've had 2, and I'm like, you know what? I need to slow down just a skosh.
Just a skosh?
Yeah.
Get into it. So big news dropped right before this episode started, and apparently Final Fantasy is going to help us usher in this news. It's just going to keep escalating. What do we got, Adam?
Tom King was announced as the co-writer of The New Gods, the film that Ava DuVernay is developing at Warner Brothers for DC. The New Gods obviously dealing with so many characters.
Yeah.
I think this is super, super exciting. I jokingly tweeted out that, his Batman run got cut by 15 issues.
We were just talking about this. We were talking about, like, man, DC did him dirty.
Yeah.
He's been playing in this big Batman thing.
Hold my beer.
And he had just gone on the air a couple weeks ago, podcast runs, talking about his last 15 issues, how they're going to change Batman forever. And then DC's like, nah. No. And we all thought, oh, they did Tom King dirty.
Yeah.
This sucks. That's fucking in that relationship. This was his big thing. It's like Joe Quesada and freaking J. Michael Straczynski all over again with One More Day. Like, all that planning, boom, done, out the window. But no. They
asked him, hey, you want to come write a movie instead? Okay.
Take those 15 issues. Yeah. Go ahead. I'm going to make more from writing this one movie than I've made my entire time working for DC. Take those 15 issues.
I mean, I think it's really exciting. And I know on Hyper Heroes we've talked about it a lot and obviously writing comics and writing movie screenplays are two very, very, very different things, right? But I think the cool and exciting thing about having somebody like Tom King coming in and writing The New Gods with Ava DuVernay, who is a huge fan of Big Barda. It's like her favorite DC character, and having both of these people coming in and writing this story centered around, Mr. Miracle, Big Barda, Apocalypse, Darkseid, all this sort of stuff. I think that what's exciting is it's two people who are very passionate about these characters. And I think if you're going to bring somebody in from the comic book side, you pair them up with someone who's as well established as Ava DuVernay, not just as a director but as a writer, then I think there's a lot of potential for this to be a very strong, solid script from a filmmaking perspective, but also very true and honors the world of Apocalypse, all the characters that are involved. So I think that's what's so exciting about it, and I love it, and I love that Warner Brothers could be the studio that really starts to bring in and do crossovers between comic book writers and filmmakers, and seeing how they really can adapt.
This needed to happen. Marvel's been doing that for a while, having some of their best comic book writers advise. And I know DC's had a couple people around, like Jeff Johns and stuff like that. But
this is like
I
really
have nothing
expanding.
Personal against Jeff Johns, but there have been things in the industry and stuff like that, and I think people are excited for some new blood to get in there and start helping round out the future of DC in the cinema world. And I think that's super exciting. That's freaking awesome. Yeah. And they drop that news, and like 20 minutes later, she drops a tweet with a picture of the two of them.
With
I'm
a picture of them. Because Tom King just tweeted that he was like on a flight going out of town for something super secret, can't tell you. I don't think it was related to that. Because Ava DuVernay posted that photo not too long after he said he was going out of town. So this is probably something that's been in conversation for the last few weeks. And I think he did tweet something a few weeks ago that, like, potentially something really cool on the horizon. Can't talk about it yet. So I'm really excited. I'm glad that we're now kind of moving forward with this film. She was announced as the director/writer, I think, over 6 months ago already. It's been a while. It's been a while. So I'm excited to see some forward motion happening on this, because I think when Warner Brothers and DC get to a point where they don't talk about movies for a while, people start to question whether or not they're going to happen. So the fact that this dropped, hey, this comic book writer and this established filmmaker are joining forces to write this story, write this movie, whatever the story itself ends up being, is very exciting, and I think it shows a lot of promise. So I don't think there's a release date for that movie yet.
Not that I've heard.
No, yeah. So
you'd be the one to know.
Yeah.
I'd ask you if.
Right? Yeah, no. So it's super exciting, and we talked about in our Hyper Heroes little chat, we talked about doing something related to DC coming up soon. So I think it's really exciting to now actually have a project that is one of the many rumor projects actually having some momentum and moving forward. So I'm excited. I'm looking forward to that.
Sweet, man. And it looks like you've got a couple other things you brought to the table.
Oh, I did. Today. Guys, it's been a very exciting 2 weeks.
I know. I do want to say really quickly, huge shout out to Nurhill over in the Twitch chat. Nurhill just tipped us $100 and said, here's some money. Comixology has saved me since you got me reading comics again. So I guess the money they saved on Comixology with all that percentage discount, which, speaking of, we're going to talk about it today.
Thank you.
I logged on to Comixology this morning to get all the books for us to talk about today. 50% off all Marvel.
What?
I saved so much money today.
Dang.
So all the volumes I picked up, every single issue for Marvel was 50% off today.
Wow.
I saved a ton of money this
Holy
week.
cow.
I was all worried. I told you last night. I was like, I don't know if I can afford to do the show.
Right.
But when I opened up the app this morning and saw 50% off on Marvel books, I was like, actually, I think Hyper can afford it.
Dang.
That helps out.
Thank you so much for the tip, by the way. That's amazing.
Thank you,
Thank you so much.
Really we are currently streaming live to Twitch, YouTube, and Facebook all at once, thanks to Restream. We will try to keep track of everything on Facebook. I'm trying. It's tough. Facebook's tough.
Yeah.
I want to body slam it when I'm trying to use it. I can't stand it. It drives me crazy.
Yeah.
But,
it's a pain in the butthole sometimes.
But we appreciate you watching either way. If you're watching on Facebook, and welcome everybody in YouTube chat. Welcome Twitch chat.
We've got every chat room pulled up.
We're trying. Everyone except Facebook. I tried with Facebook, and I was like, I'm closing this.
It's tough because it treats interaction like a comment, so it's kind of messy.
Yeah.
But some fun, exciting stuff that I got from Warner Brothers and from Disney. First of all, I've binged watched all 4 of these within the first 48 hours or 24 hours that I got them. The entire original Batman collection on 4K Ultra HD Blu-ray. Very excited. These come out.
You watched them all almost in a row.
I did.
Think you started the first one the first night, and then the next day you watched 3.
Yes, I did. One after the other, after the other, after the other, because it was worth it. I love all 4 of these, for better or for worse.
We're out here doing a 12-hour stream, and every time we come upstairs or look around, Adam's like still watching Batman.
Batman Returns, Batman Forever, Batman and Robin. Guys, seeing George Clooney's nipples and Chris O'Donnell's butt in 4K was really good.
Honestly, every time I came upstairs and I saw it was on screen, I couldn't honestly believe how good these transfers are. Like you mentioned, the first Batman especially, that is the most colorful I've ever seen that film.
Yeah.
They boosted those colors, popped them out.
Looks really good.
It really looks more comic booky and less grimdark,
kind of flat
Burton back then style. It makes it feel more in line with Batman Returns to me.
It does.
Because it brings out the comic booky, pulpy color. It's
for
really
sure.
good.
Yeah, and so these look really, really great. The Blu-ray also has the same new transfer. So if anybody, there was a lot of people wondering because I think Superman the movie had a 4K new transfer, but the Blu-ray was the old transfer. So the Blu-ray and the 4K is a brand new transfer. These movies look great. I think the HDR does these movies it works so incredibly well for these movies because some of them tend to be a little bit darker than the others. Movies like Batman Forever and Batman and Robin, man, the colors really, really pop. I think they look incredibly, just so good, especially Batman and Robin, Batman Forever, because they're newer films. I think they were archived a lot better than the first 2, so they really utilize the full 4K brand new rescan incredibly well. I would say that out of all 4. Batman and Robin probably looks the best in terms of the vibrancy and the color and the clarity and all that stuff.
Wow.
But I think they all look really, really, really good.
Batman and Robin really embraces
color
and Gotham as a...
It's 60s Batman with a budget.
It is. And, on a rewatch, on having those on in the background, I have so much less hate for them.
Yeah, same.
And I imagine... if and when I have kids someday, those are good kids movies.
Oh, for sure.
It's like watching a live-action cartoon.
Yeah.
I mean, they're just they feel like a cartoon.
Yeah.
And I know that's not always what we want as moviegoers, but
hey,
great
you know
for
what?
kids and really colorful.
Yeah, I saw some reviews on these Blu-rays on YouTube, and I got a little frustrated by some of them because some of them were talking about the quality and the look and the grain and all that stuff. And I'm going to do a review talking about that more. But you got to remember, these movies were shot on film.
Yeah.
So they're going to have grain. They use different film stocks for different reasons, different formats for visual effects and all that sort of stuff. So there's a reason why some of the movies are grainier than others, why some shots are grainier than others. But I'll talk about more in my review. But overall, if you don't already own these movies on Blu-ray and you want the newest transfer, even if you don't get the 4K, if you just get the Blu-ray, I recommend these. It's great. And they're coming out in a set on September 4th. Or on September 17th on a 4-pack set and a steelbook set, but you can get them individually right now, pre-order.
But the menus are awful. You'll talk about that in your review, too. And this just came in today.
This just came in today. Captain Marvel is going to be
4K.
available
Woo!
in 4K and Blu-ray on June 11th, I think it is. June 11th. And 3D available internationally only. I know Hector was asking. Only available in 3D internationally. New Zealand has a really cool VHS version of this, which I thought was really cool. So I haven't had a chance to actually watch this because it just got here this morning.
We're going to watch it tonight, probably.
Yeah, we're going to watch it tonight. It's got a commentary and special features, blooper reel, all kinds of stuff. I'm actually really looking forward to watching this again because when I watched it in theaters, I watched it, I think, twice. I liked it more the second time that I watched it. So I'm hoping that by watching it again, I'm going to learn to love it a little bit more. I didn't dislike the movie, but I wasn't crazy about it like I was some of the other ones.
I liked it more on retrospect than I did in theater.
Yeah.
The more I thought about it, the more I liked choices they made.
Yeah.
It was one of those things that's like in the moment, sometimes I'm like, I expected something else, so I had to retool my expectations. And the more I thought about it, I was like, oh, that was a good choice.
Yeah.
Oh, that was a good choice. I think that was smart too. There were a lot of really good choices that were made to make it a really, I think, it had a good place. It fits in a good place. So
for sure.
I'm excited to watch it again.
Yeah, I'm excited to watch it again as well. So, we got this. We got the Batman movies. There's some other fun, exciting Blu-rays coming out later on. Man, I feel like we've just been consuming Blu-ray content the last 2 months, just nonstop because we've been watching so much stuff.
That's true. And we also have this giant box of Criterion films sitting right over here. Those are just comic books to me, too.
That's
right.
right.
More good stuff. Oh, I forgot to tell you, I haven't shared my login with you yet. I have I downloaded the Criterion app. I have the year-long subscription for it.
So do I.
Oh.
I downloaded it on the TV, remember?
Oh, I put it up there. I was going to give it to you.
I already got it, buddy.
Oh, okay. I was excited.
We were watching One Car Why, remember? And you were like, I got to get the disc because it's too...
I forgot that was the Criterion thing. I thought it was the other app. I got the...
Zach, if only you knew. Remember I even said, I was like, oh, apparently I signed up for Criterion Channel. I forgot to cancel my thing.
Shit. We just had a conversation yesterday where Malika was like, you're having some problems with your memory. And I was like, I am.
It's okay, me too.
I am.
I also have PC Universe on the TV.
It was because
in
Jason
case you
Charles
forgot.
Miller texted me and he was like, hey, man, it was great to run into you the other night. And I wrote him back like, wait, what? When did I see you? And he's like, at Satine's birthday party. We had a whole conversation. I was like, we did?
Zach.
And then
Zach.
I texted back like an hour later. I'm like, oh, yeah, we talked about metal music and comic books. I remember now. What the fuck's wrong with my brain? What's happening to me? What's happening? No.
I realize how much Zach and I are alike because we both get horrendous sleep.
Yeah,
and I think it affects our memory a lot.
Yeah.
I had to drive to Santa Monica the other night, and when I got back to my girlfriend's house, I fell asleep on the couch, and she went to go take a shower. And when she came out, she woke me up to come go sleep in bed, and she was like, "Hey, you want to come lay down?" And I was like, "Did we just go get ice cream?" No, we had just driven to Santa Monica to go drop off a computer, and I was like,
we did?
What's happening right now? What is going on? Yeah.
What day is
it? I think you and I need to definitely get better
more
sleep or something.
Yeah, for sure. I know. I hear it a lot from my wife. I got something really cool, too.
Yeah, what is this?
Nobody's seen this yet, I don't think, so I can't share too much.
Oh, is it not out yet?
No, it's not out yet. It's Teens in Space. The same people who publish Kids on Bikes. I've been doing a Kids on Bikes RPG, and there's been 2 modules for that, the main and extended module. Teens in Space is using a similar but more extended rule system to help with space travel and stuff like that.
Okay.
And I cannot wait to dive into this. I'm super pumped. The art's really great. I wonder if our friend Monica has any artwork in here. She's usually watching. Let us know, Monica, if you have any artwork in here. I'm super excited, though. Ivan was telling me that they have like special things in here for FTL travel and stuff like that and how it's handled. And I'm like, ooh, this is really fun. And I was like, this is great. I got to figure out how to take my teenagers into space somehow. A good thing I just brought up an asteroid in the show.
Oh, my God.
Maybe there's something that can happen there. We'll see. Who knows?
That's amazing.
We got to figure it out.
That's pretty cool.
We got to figure it out. So just got that yesterday. And a whole bunch of backpacks that say Kids on Bikes on them that we're going to do as giveaways.
Are you serious?
Yeah,
That's
man.
rad.
It's really cool. It's like red
that.
and blue backpacks that say Kids on Bikes. And we'll get to
That's
use
really
them
cool.
for giveaways.
That's exciting.
It's been really great. Hopefully you all have been checking that out. Coloc 1991. If you are a fan of comic books, this show is so heavily influenced by comic books. It's my main source of inspiration. I want it to be a comic book. I am getting ready to pitch it as a comic book. And it's really fun. It's a really fun RPG that's on our YouTube channel. You can check it out if you are watching on YouTube. It's really cool.
And live on Twitch every Monday.
Yeah, that's true. Live on Twitch every Monday. But if you've never watched an RPG and you're like, I don't know, I don't get it. Why do these guys put so many RPGs out? Let me tell you why. Here at Hyper RPG, we are a storytelling network. What we're doing right now is storytelling. What we respect, movies, comic books, storytelling. And to me, RPGs are the future of storytelling. Live improvisational storytelling with audience input. It's one of my favorite things ever. As a writer, director, producer, it is my favorite form right now of storytelling because it is filled with surprises, not just for the audience, but for the people on it. Mm-hmm. It is a cool experience to be a person telling this story and not know what's going to happen next, even though it's my story. It's extremely exciting. I think there's so many things in the future that we're going to see from this format, and hopefully we get to be there to be a part of that. But if you really like stories, then I cannot recommend checking out some of our tabletop RPGs enough. So
stories.
Yep. Should we get into something else? What is there stuff to talk about, like comic books and stuff?
Really quickly, I think it's worth mentioning too that last week when we did the show, we talked about how Zach and I were going to start doing a new show. We meant to start shooting it yesterday.
It's been a rough week.
It's been a crazy week. Some stuff happened, and we couldn't get to it yesterday, unfortunately.
We'll still get to it.
But we're still going to get to it. So hopefully, I think the plan is.
I picked my 2 movies.
You did.
I picked my 2 scenes. I'm pumped.
I've got some. I need to look at the supplemental material to make sure that I have enough to sort of help give insight on it. But I might have a couple, so I have to kind of narrow it down to 2.
Okay. I mean, we're gonna do a lot more.
Oh yeah.
I just had the first two just like on the tip of my tongue.
Yeah.
As I was sitting there thinking, I was like, "Ooh, I want these two. I want to talk about these two.
Done, sold, yes.
I want to do it. So excited.
Tasty.
So excited. So let's talk about what we read this week.
Sure.
I'm gonna pull up good old Comixology, which, like I said, there is currently a 50% off on Marvel book sale that was going on that I didn't even know was happening.
That is crazy.
I just opened up the app and boom, I just kept seeing 50% off, 50% off. I'm like, fuck yes. I did not pick up everything that came out this week. These are just things that we picked up. So in regards to what we talk about on the show, it's just, you know, what we had a chance to pick up, what we had a chance to read. It's been a crazy week. I read a lot of what I didn't get to last week, and I feel like that's partly what the show's always going to be, is me getting a chance to catch up and tell you, okay, I missed all these last week, but I caught up. Here's what I think.
Yeah.
So let me pull this up, and we will start going through them. Right off the bat, though, you read a couple.
I did.
What was good to you? Like, what popped out?
Well, so I feel like I didn't get far enough in Superman Leviathan Rising to really understand whether or not to get a good grasp on how good it is. But the thing that kind of hooked me in the very first page, there's a little tribute to Richard Donner, and there's a tribute to the Justice League, very first issue with Starro on the cover.
Oh,
and I was like, oh, cool, great, this is fun. And then you get to meet the Leviathan character, and it's a really cool introduction to the character. You don't really get to see the character, but it's sort of talking. The Leviathan is currently trying to strategize how to take down Superman, and he's having a one-on-one with another character on how previous villains in the Superman universe have tried to take down Superman, and it's always been the same typical way every single time. And now Leviathan is trying to think of a new strategy on how to get to Superman and how to lure him out and how to take him out. And that's kind of as far as I've gotten so far. So I haven't really gotten to the meat of the story yet. But
it's a volume, so there's a lot there.
There's a lot. It's 72 pages, I think. And I think I got through about the first 12.
So it's not so much a volume as it is a big first issue.
Yeah.
Big first issue, like an annual.
Yeah, but it did suck me in, and I'm really interested to see how they approach a new character, potentially new character in the DC universe trying to take Superman down, and what that could entail, because we've seen almost everything, I feel like. Kryptonite and using Kryptonian technology and zapping Superman into the Phantom Zone and other, I think we've seen it all. So I'm interested to see what's the new take on trying to take Superman down.
Interesting.
Yeah. So
I'm trying to think what was my favorite book I read this week before I dive into. Now, I still have so much to read.
Same. There were so many of these that I really wanted to jump into.
No, I was just trying to.
I did read Batman Last Night on Earth.
Oh, okay, that's the one most people are going to hear about.
Yeah, and I went into it not knowing anything about it.
Okay.
Nothing at all. And first of all, the art is great. The art is really, really good. I think so this is from the Black Label, the DC Black Label, which I think the way they're treating is they're sort of like one-off stories for these characters.
Okay.
Or the beginning of I think this potentially could be the first of, I don't know how long this run is supposed to be, because it's book 1, so I'm not sure exactly how many books it's supposed to be.
Okay.
But the basic premise is Batman. The introduction of the story, it's narrated by Alfred, but basically the gist of it is that Batman ends up being a patient in Arkham Asylum, or Bruce Wayne ends up being a patient in Arkham Asylum, and the idea of Batman is something that he created in his head, and you find out that Bruce Wayne actually murdered Martha and Thomas Wayne.
What?
So it's a nice, interesting twist. You find out that all of the caretakers in Arkham have basically been labeled in Bruce Wayne's mind as the villains of the story. So Redmond Hud, I think is his name. That's basically the Joker character. Then you see in the background, there's shots of characters that look like Penguin and Solomon Grundy and Harley Quinn. So basically this lead up that you're seeing, this is Alfred narrating, and Bruce Wayne realizing that he sees this kid in Crime Alley, but he realizes it's him. And then when he gets shot by this possessed-looking child, he wakes up in Arkham Asylum, and the whole story starts to unfold. And you start to...
Now, is this supposed to be like an alternate universe Batman, or do we know where this is going?
There are things that happen later on that I feel like if I tell you, I'm going to start spoiling what happens.
Don't spoil it.
So I'm not going to spoil it, but it's very, very interesting, and I was super intrigued by this. And like every time I would turn the page, I'm like, where are they going? Where are they going? And to have Bruce Wayne to be a character that like the Batman persona and the Batman idea is something that he made up in his mind because he's gone insane was super intriguing. But then it like takes another turn and spins back around, and you're like, wait a second, I was not expecting this to go this direction. What the hell? How did we end up here? So it's setting up a lot. It's setting up a very interesting story and an arc for Bruce Wayne and Batman. And like I'm now curious to see kind of where it ends up in the final third of the book. I'm like, wait, so is this the new reality of this story? Has Bruce Wayne really been brainwashed, or is this new reality that we're assuming? Like, what exactly is going on? And it ends kind of on a cliffhanger, and I'm just curious to see where book 2 picks up. And obviously, if it's 3 books or 2 books, I'm not sure.
And I think Tony P's right in the chat. It's supposed to be Snyder's last run of Batman. It's his last Batman story.
Gotcha.
He's been working on Batman for years.
Yeah,
now,
for a long
and
time.
This is the last one.
Yeah, so I really dug it. I thought the artwork was really cool. I was really surprised by kind of where it went, and I liked how it treated Bruce Wayne's character and how he kind of was a fish out of water. And they dropped some things in there that you're like, wait, is this real or is this not real? So I definitely would like to continue reading that and seeing what the payoff is at the end.
I think we should specify, that's my bad for people who might immediately be confused, Scott Snyder.
Oh, what did you say?
I just said Snyder.
Oh.
And
yeah,
I think some people might get confused.
Sure.
In the comic book world, the Snyder everyone knows is Scott Snyder. And not Zack Snyder.
Yeah.
My favorite book that I read this week, and I have so much more to read that I'm excited about. I tried to get through all the quick and dirty Marvel drops as quick as I could, but I still got a long way to go, was War of the Realms War Scrolls. This is 3 stories in one book.
Ooh, nice.
3 little collections, which sometimes can be a real, bummer. And it wasn't. It was really good. It was really good. Each one was really strong and had a lot to offer. And my favorite was the first one, which was the Daredevil, the God Without Fear. I think Jason Aaron is at his best when he's bringing a little bit of darkness out. I think when I say that, but man, Jason Aaron's Wolverine and the X-Men run was really good. I think his best team dynamics ever were in that. And he just got a lot of those characters really well. But lately, I haven't been as impressed with his work. I think Thor is so good. But a lot of his other big titles right now I haven't been as into. Not as much as I'm into, say, something like Southern Bastards, which is one of my favorite comic books of all time. But when he brings a little bit of that Southern Bastards out into other books, I fucking love it. And in this one, he has a setup that is so good, and it's just freaking great. Daredevil now has Heimdall's powers, so he's the God without fear.
Which, because if you look on the cover, he's got
the universe
space,
and everything.
The universe basically.
Yeah, Heimdall's powers.
That's sick.
Which is really cool. It's part of this War of the Realms sign. But I loved this moment. This page right here between Malekith and Wilson Fisk. Malekith knows that Wilson Fisk is Daredevil's biggest foe. Malekith's beating the shit out of Wilson Fisk and saying, you're going to give me this. And Fisk does what Fisk does best, which is run his tongue and kind of tell Malekith how he'll help him. Because Malekith wants to know Daredevil's weaknesses. He's now the God without fear. He has access to the Bifrost. He wants to take him down. Wilson's the one that can provide that information. And I thought this setup, there's still so much more this book has to offer, so I'm not spoiling anything. I think this is how I'm going to convince you to read it. This is one of those moments I was reading it, and I told Matt, because we were having lunch together, I was like, this is when I really like Jason Aaron. So basically, Kingpin is just going through. He's like, I can help you with that. Better than anyone alive, but I want something in return. What's up? I know about the big magic sword he carries now. He's become the God with fear. I'll do better than tell you how to kill him. So, I'll do better than tell you how to kill him. So in your mind, you're already like, what's going to, hurt Matt Murdock? How does Fisk get to Murdoch when he has all these other armies to help him with that? I'll do it myself. Just give me what I need. And what would that be? Well, for starters, and the next page is Malekith sends all of his forces to burn all the churches in New York City. And that one I was like, that's so good. Because it just sets up immediately, so much about Matt Murdock and what he cares about and everything that Matt Murdock fights for. And then just be the next thing is burn the god houses. You're like, oh shit!
Yep, that's hitting him at his core.
Oh, and then you get a great
Oh, shit. They know how to draw me out.
Yeah, coming in to fuck shit up. So it's really great.
Not going to lie, I thought you were going to say his eyesight.
No, man.
Because part of me was like, damn, what would Daredevil be if he did get his eyesight back?
It's happened before.
Has it?
We've been there before, I think we've done that. I'm sure we have. It's comic books. It's comic books.
He gets it and loses it again.
I thought that was a great setup.
That's cool, yeah.
The whole 3 issues of this are really great. First, it goes through Daredevil. There's other surprises in that I won't ruin for you. Other fun stuff. Like I said, War of the Realms has felt like a great throwback to old tie-in events where it's just like, you know what would be fun? It's fucking comic books. Let's just have some fun. Let's get crazy.
Yeah.
Let's have some fun with it. And there was a Doctor Strange tie-in that was
cool.
also really strong.
Oh, so the artwork is all done by different people as well.
Different people. So it's 3 different stories in one book. They're all little short stories. And then there was a Loki story that brings in the Young Avengers. So it's the first time I've heard from Wiccan in a while and Kate Bishop and stuff like that. So that was cool. Because Loki used to be a big part of that. Loki was a part of that team. A lot of stuff went down with Loki and them. So Loki's part of the reason all the War of the Realms stuff is happening. So it was kind of cool to see their perspective on how they feel about everything.
Yeah.
So that was good. It was
That's
good.
cool.
It was a really good tie-in to the War of the Realms big event that's happening right now. So let me get back to this.
Also, for those asking, yes, this is a T-shirt from Halloween. It's one of my favorite movies.
This is a T-shirt from TwitchCon. Nobody asked.
But now they know.
Now they know. It's my panic basket. Everything is fine. Everything is fine. Has there been a War of the Realms story with Doctor Strange yet? I don't keep tabs on everything. Just this one, I think, with his involvement in War of the Realms and what's going on there. And Nightmare makes an appearance in that. Nightmare is one of my favorite old school villains because one of the books when I was a kid that I had, it was a Ghost Rider Wolverine team up with Nightmare in it, and I believe the art was by, I hate my brain right now, the guy that does the Max. Why, chat, you have Google at your fingertips. Tell me immediately, and then I'm going to hate myself for forgetting. I love his art. How am I forgetting this? Anyway, he did the art for that book. It was a Wolverine Ghost Rider team-up with Nightmare as the villain from the artist and writer that does the Max. And it's so good. And I remember that book so vividly and certain scenes in that book. Sam Keith. God damn it! Thank you, chat room. So, I love Nightmare as a villain. It's good times. So let's just now go into all the books we picked up, and I'll talk about the ones I read, and then I'll get into last week's really fun books and things that I want you to read and check out that I thought were really strong. All right. Starting off here at the top, which is a little blocked by our camera view, it's Extinction, X-Men Grand Design, 1 of 2. This is a huge book. I'm not all the way through it yet, but I got the general idea.
Yeah, you look like you got pretty far.
Pretty far. It's huge. This is the same guy that did Hip Hop History a couple years ago, won an Eisner for it. It's basically like retellings of favorite moments in X-Men history in concise, redrawn way. They're really good.
That's cool.
They're really good. They're great throwbacks. It's a lot of fun.
So if I was someone who was like, I don't really know anything about X-Men, could you give this to them and be like, here's some here's
X-Men
a flavor?
Ones. Yeah, you could. You could learn a lot about the X-Men from these books. I think the art is really fun. I think it's really good, honestly.
Nice.
So there's this is a lot of throwbacks to X-Man and Scott's son and all that good stuff, and it's good. It's good shit. You're not gonna regret checking it out.
How many pages? It looks like it's huge.
Yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot of pages. It is a lot. I picked up X-Force Volume 1, Sins of the Past, because I am not up to date on X-Force, but I saw Shatterstar on there and Deathclock, and those are 2 things that I'm really into.
Sign me up.
I picked it up. I haven't had a chance to read it yet. I will read it, though, and I will get back to you. Yes, there is some retconning in those books. There's definitely retconning to make it feel more like there's a continuity there. You are correct. But anyway, I haven't read it yet. I'll check out X-Force. Like I said, War of the Realms, War Scrolls, super good.
I'm going to check that out.
And every week you're going to hear me bring up a book where I talk about, I bought it because the cover looked cool. I judge books by their cover in comic book world. That is something you can do. The Whispering Dark.
Someone hates you out there.
I picked up The Whispering Dark because it's a cool fucking cover, and it's called The Whispering Dark.
Sign me up.
Done. Those look like two Spanish names. I'm like, I want to know what this is.
Yeah.
I want to know what this is, and I will be reporting back to you on that. I will be reporting back. Thanos number 2 of 6. I really dislike number 1.
Really?
I really dislike number 1.
Okay.
It was not.
Now I have to read it.
I put this at the end of my list of things I was going to read today because I didn't like the first one.
Yeah.
I love Thanos books. I thought Jeff Lemire's run was so freaking good. And then we get this run, which came out right around the first one came out right after Endgame, and I even forgot that was of 6. I don't know. And saw it, and I was like, maybe it'll get better. I'm willing to give it a shot. I just really didn't like the first issue. You know, sometimes a first issue needs a lot of things for me for an established character, and Thanos is a lot of things. And he's been written a lot of different ways over the years, and that's totally fine.
Yeah.
And I'm anxious to see those different things. I just didn't feel like the writing was strong. I didn't feel like I understood. There was some weird – it just flowed weird. It didn't read right, and that could be an editing problem too. I don't know. I want it to be better because I love Thanos so much. He's one of my favorite characters, so I'll check it out. I will read it. I'll see if it gets better.
Yeah, interesting.
All right, so you checked out Superman Leviathan Rising.
I did.
Still working through it.
Still working through it. Very intrigued. Loving the artwork. Very interested in the story. And, it just, I'm always, like I said before, I'm always curious to see what new things they try to do with Superman and with the DC Universe. So I'm interested to see where this goes.
Superior Spider-Man number 6. Have not read it yet, but it's got Doctor Strange in it. I don't know if you know about this. This is Dr. Octopus is now back into his Superior Spider-Man costume.
Okay.
And he is up in San Francisco. He is a San Francisco hero. Debatable.
Okay.
Debatable hero.
Interesting.
Debatable hero. First couple issues were pretty interesting. I am excited to check it out to see if that trend continues. So after that, we've got Stranger Things 6, number 1.
I'm bummed. I wanted to read this. I wanted to check this out before we started recording. I just didn't get a chance to get to it.
Yay, live programming.
Yay! But I really like the Stranger Things universe. I think it's the way what they built up for the first 2 seasons has been very interesting. And obviously we gotten to know 11, and we got to know some of the other potential characters on her little side quest. So I'm curious to see great, what does this comic book do that adds to the Stranger Things universe? Is it going to heavily reference the things that we've come to know already in this universe, or is it just taking the basic concepts and going, here's something different? So I'm interested. I had no clue that Stranger Things was doing a comic book.
Well, I picked it up purely because my friend Jody Hauser is working on it.
Okay,
I saw
cool.
Jody's name on the cover.
Oh, yeah, there it is, yeah.
And I was like, I'll check it out.
Yeah.
So they're saying in the chat that book is before season 1.
Oh, I like that, too. I like exploring a part of the timeline that we've never explored before. We don't know much. Yeah. So that could be fun. I'm going to check that out.
So War of the Realms, Spider-Man, and the League of Realms, number 2 of 3. I dig it.
Yeah.
It's silly. It's not as strong as Strike Force when it comes to my Peter Parker one-offs. But it's still good, and there's some good moments in there, and there's good lessons in this one. What I liked about number 1 of 3 is there was a good lesson in there. I like my Spider-Man comics every once in a while and be like, this is why you're a hero.
Yeah.
You got to do the hero thing.
It matters sometimes,
Don't kill people. Come on. We can be diplomatic, and we can figure this out.
Don't be an a-hole.
So I thought that this was a good run. Number 2 of 3, it expands upon right where we left off in number 1, and we get to know the Angels a little bit more and why they're choosing to side with Spider-Man and help him. And there's another couple great Spider-Man moments in there. And it kind of rides off the back of number 1 really well because number 1, Spider-Man's like, I don't even know why they put me in charge. Why am I leading a group of people? And this has happened many times in Spider-Man books where Spider-Man believes, I'm not a leader. I don't do teams. Well, don't put me in charge of stuff. And then he shows that he can be a pretty good one.
Yeah.
And at the end of the book, last week, it's like, oh, be diplomatic. He did something, but he wasn't leading. And then there's a moment in this book where it's just 2 pages of him telling people, you do this, you do that, you do that.
Yeah.
And it's great. It's good. It makes you like, yeah, you got it, Peter. You do it. So, it's good. Check it out. I think, especially with 50% off on Comixology. You can't
take
go
advantage of that sale, baby.
Yeah. Can't go wrong. She Said Destroy number 1. I wish I had good things to say about this. I like the colors.
Yeah, I see you got partially through.
I stopped. I like the colors.
Yeah.
I think the coloring is really strong. I am okay with art that I don't feel is super strong if the color's good and the writing's good and there is a consistency to the not good art. So like the Ada brothers, they do work, or not Ada brothers. God damn it. It's Alex and Ada is the name of the book. I'm telling you, my brain, I'm losing it, man. I'm losing it. Alex and Ada, girls. I'm gonna picture visually their names on the cover. Luna Brothers. That's how I had to do it. I had to think about the cover and see their name on the cover. The Luna Brothers, and their art is very simplistic. It's very minimal, but there's a consistency to it. And over time, I'm like, okay, I'm cool with it. The writing is so strong. There's a consistency to the art. I'm cool with it. This book, it's from an independent publisher I'd never heard of before. I like the color, so I picked it up. I thought the introduction of the story was it was interesting.
Yeah.
Like there's all these gods and they only exist if people keep believing in them, which isn't necessarily new, but there's these warring gods. And there's one god kind of ruling over them all, this woman. And but the line art, it was rough. It was rough. And it's, I hope it gets better. And I understand as an indie comic, this might be people who are just like, we just need a shot. We need to get our work out there, see if we can, get picked up and move on to bigger things. So they're saying, show us some of the art. I can.
Get the movies made,
And I don't want to. Oh, come on now. Why did I do that? Get out of here. Get out of here. Let me figure that out. So it's one of those things. I don't like to do this and diss on people. I don't like doing that. What is going on? We're getting some weird stuff going on with our keyboard here. It's because Amazon decided to sign me out randomly.
That's always helpful.
It happens. I don't like to crap on people.
Right.
If I don't like a book, usually I think it's better to just say like, I didn't really dig it.
Yeah.
I don't want to act as if I think I could do better or anything like that. So I don't want to just shit on something, but I see the chance for it to be better.
Yeah.
I think the colors are really strong. I think they have a really good colorist.
Yeah.
But I just didn't find the line art to be something I could connect with.
Yeah. It
It
feels
feels rushed.
Yeah.
It feels incomplete.
I want to say basic, but I also don't want to say basic.
Yeah, I don't think basic would be the right word.
Yeah.
It just doesn't feel done.
Yeah.
To me, it feels incomplete.
It almost feels like this was sent to the printer and they went, shit, we forgot a layer of detail.
Yeah, I think it's a stylistic choice. I really do.
Yeah.
I think it's a stylistic choice. And that's cool.
Yeah.
I
mean, for me looking at it, I'm like, yeah, I don't know if,
And already, like, this is stronger than the first page, but then the panel right under it, there's no consistency there. And this is what I'm talking about. It's like, that's not bad. And then right there's a lack of consistency in that line weight. And even, like, the colors trying to follow this line and not being able to. Those kinds of things will get on my nerves a little bit, mainly because I did, like, character art, and I've done this kind of work before. So when I see these kind of incomplete lines and even the colors having a hard time figuring out where a border is and how that should work, it can be rough. It can be a little rough for me. So, yep. So it looks like Amir may have messed up something downstairs. So for the Twitch people, something might be going on downstairs. So
Zach just pulled out his phone.
Yep. Because it looks like YouTube might be okay. So it looks like something happened downstairs that maybe Amir is missing.
But yeah, I mean, I'm with you though. I think the color is really strong. Like, I like the use of the color and the backgrounds, the way they're using multiple colors to sort of illustrate space or whatever it's supposed to be, or the night sky. I like it. I think it looks cool. But yeah, I think the line art, especially, it's so hard because there's so many different types of comic books, and when you see this line art compared to some of the other indie stuff that we've been reading, and it's like, yeah, I'm gonna kind of go to the thing that I'm pulled towards more. So you have to kind of look at the landscape and realize, like, okay, there's a certain amount of effort that needs to kind of be put in for people to get sucked in to the art.
And I feel like, there's with these indie comics, sometimes it's like you got a really good story idea, you got a great colors, you might just be missing one piece of that puzzle, and that's why I usually want to give them a shot.
Yeah.
And I was bummed myself that I was like, I don't know, I've got so many books to read, I got so much to get through, I don't know if that's a thing.
Yeah.
It looks like we are back on the Twitch end, we got that figured out. So cool. YouTube didn't skip a beat. Facebook was okay, so it looks like something.
Do we want to hit that question over there?
What's
about
that?
the 11-year-old niece? About the comics?
What comics should I introduce my 11-year-old niece? Devil Dinosaur and Moon Girl.
Okay.
Definitely. Moon Girl, Devil Dinosaur. Sorry, I said it backwards. That great book. Really fun. Squirrel Girl. The Marvel Rising is another great one that's going on right now. These are concurrent books. These are running right now for your 11-year-old niece. I think these are all amazing options. They're great, like, all-around fun books. Squirrel Girl, Moon Girl, Devil Dinosaur, and Marvel Rising. Can't go wrong with. Lumberjanes. Also freaking great. There was a new Lumberjanes this week. I haven't got a chance to read it yet, but Lumberjanes is amazing. Adventure Time, the comic book, also really good. And Steven Universe has a comic book that's really good.
That's right, yeah.
So there's lots of options out there. There are lots of options out there. Somebody asked, hey, guys, will this be uploaded on the Hyper RPG channel? You're watching it on the Hyper RPG channel.
I think the question is, are we going to make these public after we air them?
Are you not?
No.
Oh, you're not?
Should I be?
I thought you were.
We didn't talk about this.
I just figured we were doing something live. It was going up for the internet to see, right?
That answers your question.
Oh, yeah, I thought it was. I assumed it was. People
I think
can watch it on Twitch.
I think they automatically go back to unlisted when we're done.
Oh, gotcha. But you were sending them over to Patreon, right?
No, I wasn't sending them over to Patreon. What I was doing is making posts on Patreon letting people know that we were doing it.
Gotcha. I think we should make them actually available.
There you go.
Because
that answers
they're
that question.
available on Twitch. They're available on Facebook. We should probably make them available on YouTube as well.
Well, there you go.
That's why I feel like an idiot for not understanding your question. I was like, we're doing this right now on HyperRPG. Okay, so moving on here to the next row of stuff. We've got Daredevil, Fearless Origins. I'm excited to check this out. I haven't started it, but it's on my list for tonight. I will be reading it tonight. It's going to be great. Saga Book 3, Deluxe Edition. I have 1 and 2. I didn't know Book 3 was dropping today, and I'm excited about this too because Saga's a book I like reading in this format.
Okay.
I like reading it in the giant books.
Yeah.
That's my favorite way to consume Saga.
Is it because it's just such a engrossing story that you kind of feel like it's more rewarding to just sit there and read the whole thing at once?
Yes.
Gotcha.
Saga, to me, it is a saga.
Yeah.
You know? It's a saga.
You don't want to read Piece of Saga.
Yeah, every time I do Saga on a month-to-month release, I get frustrated. So I wait for these big books to drop, and then I do
Power
it all
through.
at once. Yep.
Nice.
And I really dig it that
What
way.
soundtrack?
What's tonight's soundtrack?
No. What soundtrack would you read?
Oh,
this is the ongoing
shit.
question that I'm going to have every single week for comics that you read.
I know. I don't listen to music when I read comic books. I know you and Hector are all about it.
Yeah. Look, it helps kind of like pull me in.
Part of it's probably because I read most comics in bed while my wife is sleeping.
That's true.
Let's see. I would say for Saga, I wouldn't go like you want some sort of space theme.
Okay.
But you don't like. I think Star Wars isn't the right fit.
Yeah, it's like too fantasy maybe, or like too.
A little.
Yeah.
Saga's like an alternate modern future. Honestly, maybe even like a video game route, going like Mass Effect, or even like TV show soundtrack. Well, I don't know.
Like, I'm just spitballing here, but I'm thinking like maybe like Expanse or Battlestar Galactica.
Expanse more so than Battlestar,
Okay.
but even then, Expanse isn't the right fit. Saga's really unique.
Okay.
It's really unique. It's
I've heard nothing but good
book.
things about it.
It's good. It's good. It's really good.
Mm-hmm.
I do feel like it needs to end.
Okay.
And I know it's coming to an end, but
Sure.
I feel like it needs to end. It feels like it's a story that needs to find its end and needs to find it soon.
Gotcha.
And I
Don't
think
overstay your welcome.
The Magnificent Miss Marvel. This is another book I would recommend for your 11-year-old niece. Maybe wait till she's 12 or 13. Miss Marvel's really good at dealing with some heavy topics that are going on in the world. And if you want to deal with those questions, go for it. If you're not ready to have those questions or for their parents to have those questions, maybe wait a year or two. But they're really good. And they have great messages, great messages in them. And I think it's something that young boys and girls should be reading as a figurehead to be looking up on. I think Miss Marvel is so damn good.
Nice.
It's a great book. I have not read number 3 yet, but it'll be... Final Fantasy Master. Looks like Saga Deluxe Book number 1 is on sale half off for $20 on Comixology right now.
What?
Worth it.
Damn.
Frickin' worth it. That is $20 well spent. Well spent. $20 for Saga Book 1. It's freaking like this big.
Dang.
It's huge,
That's
man.
literally a book. That's crazy.
Yeah, the Upside Down podcast says, I'm a Muslim. Would that comic be great for me? Yes.
Boom.
I think it would. I would. I am not Muslim, so I don't want to speak for Muslims. But it is a great book on just dealing with representation in the United States and fitting in and finding a place and where that belongs. So
Nice.
it's great. Lumberjanes Boombox number 1. So this, I don't know if this is a relaunch, if this is a new, like, it's the subtitle line there, somewhere that's green. So if this is a new start to a new journey, I'm excited to check it out.
Yeah, I've heard nothing but good things about Lumberjanes from literally everyone who's read it.
You can't really say anything bad about it.
Yeah, it's one of those
just
stories.
Strong.
Huh?
Yeah, it's just
Nice.
strong. Solid writing, solid concept, and
Yeah.
something we need more of in the world.
Nice.
You know, just,
I'm about
just
it.
good shit. I really dug Killer Groove number 1. I don't know why it says I didn't finish the book, but I did. Come on, Comixology. I was probably offline when I read it. Killer Groove is really freaking fun. It was good. It set up a really cool story, and I'm excited to see where it goes. It was a really good number 1 because it set up 3 plot lines.
Oh, cool.
And it did it in a pretty interesting way. Like, first page introduces character. They're being chased. I get that. And right off the bat, even though these 3 plot lines shouldn't feel like they have anything to do with each other, the book found a way to set up all 3 to make you realize every one of these characters is going to have to interact with each other, and their worlds are going to collide, and they're all going to have to deal with each other. And it was really well done, really well handled, and it's fun. It's definitely an indie book. No superheroes. This is your good old-fashioned, it feels very Elias Industries, or Alias Industries, sorry.
Yeah.
Very Jessica Jones-esque. There's a private investigator woman. There's a musician who plays in a bar, and there's an old man who's running from people trying to kill him, and how their 3 lives move together.
Is that a guitar case?
Yep.
Some Desperado action happening here?
There's nothing that fantastical going on.
Okay.
It's actually a pretty interesting. There's a great scene in the book where this guy's just getting done playing music at the bar, and he's walking by an alley, and he sees 2 people fighting, and he sees one of them about to pull a gun. And he takes his guitar case and hits that guy with it. And he's like, "What are you doing?" Blah, blah. And then that guy attacks him. And he picks up like a screwdriver off the ground and jams it in that guy's neck. And then the other guy gets up and is like, "I owe you a coffee." You know, like.
Okay.
And then they're just having coffee.
Yeah.
And he's got his guitar case next to him and all this stuff. And they're just sitting
Okay.
there talking. And then while they're talking, he finally asks him, like, "Why was that guy trying to kill you?" He was like, "Oh, well, you know, he was just defending himself. I was trying to kill him." And he's like, and he hands him a wad of cash, and he's like, "You earned it, by the way. That was my share, but you're the one that finished the job, so here you go."
Dang.
And he's like, if you ever want work, let me know. Most people, they wouldn't be able to handle, but you, look at your hands, rock solid, you know?
Oh my
So it was
God.
good. It was a nice
That's
little
cool.
good twist.
I like that. That's fun. I like going into a story thinking it's going to go one way, and then they kind of spin it around a little bit, and it's like, oh, actually, this is what's going on. Like, oh, damn, okay, cool.
And it was good because it kind of set up and just because he said, "Look at your hands," you know, solid as a rock, even though he just did this horrific act and it got flipped on him, you want to know so much more about this musician now because, like, wait, yeah, why isn't he shaken up about this?
Yeah.
Like, what I love is it sets a baseline reality. Yes, he just saved some dude, but he killed a guy in an alley, and this hitman is saying, like, you should be freaking out, and you're not. And I love when stories remind me, like, here's your baseline reality. This is why this is weird, because it's so easy in comic books to just accept anything, just like in RPGs. You got to establish that reality. You need an NPC character to come in and say, "You're supposed to be a little upset about this right now. This isn't normal." So it was great. I thought that was a really good setup.
That's cool.
And I'm excited to read number 2.
Yeah.
And Jordi Belair is the colorist on this book, and she's one of my favorite colorists in the biz.
Oh, awesome.
One of my absolute favorites. Moving on, The Immortal Hulk, number 18. I picked this up and started reading it, and I have to go back and read all of them. I love Al Ewing. Ewing, correct me, chat. Somebody knows it. I'm going to sneeze. Keep talking.
Bless you. I didn't get a chance to read this one. My God. No, I didn't get a chance to read this one, but it's a really cool cover. It's like I was scrolling through, and it was the Hulk and Heroes in Crisis. I was like, please let me have time to get to this, and I didn't get a chance to.
Well, The Immortal Hulk, I started reading it, and I was like, I don't know what the fuck is going on.
Okay.
What is happening? What is
it's issue 18.
I know. Who is this person? What does he mean that the Grey Hulk is back? Bruce Banner, Joe Fixit, the Devil Hulk. What are all these things? What is happening
Let me go back.
I don't understand any of this. What's going on? I'm like, who's this guy with the mustache? Why is he in a cap? Why did he write this thing on the piece of paper and put it up in a mirror? Hulk's in the mirror. That looks like normal Hulk. Why does it say Devil Hulk on the piece of paper? Why is Professor Hulk with the question mark? What is happening? I couldn't figure it out, so I need to go back and I need to read the rest of it.
Is that how your brain works?
Yeah, definitely.
Great.
And it's like, I have to go back and I have to read all of this. It's really interesting, and I didn't know what was going on. So in that regard, if you just pick it up and you haven't read everything before it, no fucking clue.
That's what there was something that I read last week or the week before. It was kind of the same situation. I got thrown into the middle of it, and I was like, I don't know how the hell we got here, why these characters are here, what is this situation that they're in? I'm so lost. I got to go back and read the first whatever amount of issues it was.
I will say it made me want to, though.
Yeah, that's how I felt too.
Sometimes I'm like, I don't care enough, and then other times I'm like, oh, I want to go back and see how we got to this point because who is this? What the fuck is happening? Jeez.
What is the story?
So Tony P says Immortal Hulk has been a surprise hit for me. I mean, Al Ewing, he's great. I think his work is amazing, so I trust that. I did not get a chance to check out Heroes in Crisis. This is King also, and he's been tweeting about this a lot. Have you read any of these?
I have not.
You've probably heard about it.
Yes.
But
I have not. I haven't had a chance to read this. But again, King, very interested. Want to know more. Very intrigued by the cover. Give me more of this story, damn it.
Okay, check it out. You should definitely read it.
Okay, cool. It's only 9. We're only on issue 9, so it's like it's gonna be a quick read.
It's gonna be they're gonna have a big, Heroes in Crisis volume come out for sure. War of the Realms, Giant Man. I love it. I really like number 1, and number 2 is still good.
Nice.
It's one of my favorite War of the Realms tie-ins. It's all of the giant men from Marvel Comics.
Oh, that's right.
All going on one mission together. They were sent on a mission by Freya to infiltrate Miami, which has been taken over by frost giants. They hit Miami. And
of course.
It's good. It's good because it's just their personalities work off each other really well. It's a heist story that obviously, like a lot of heist stories, they get over their head. Yeah. And they have to come to some dark realizations at the end of this issue. And it's strong. It's really strong. There's some funny moments, like generally funny moments that happen in it. And that's hard to come by in comic books. So it's good. I recommend it, especially 50% off. Cannot go well. Oh, that's the last issue of Heroes in Crisis, FYI. Oh shit.
Damn.
So maybe it's best you didn't read it.
I'm glad. I would have been like, what?
Yeah.
What the hell? Cool. Well, that's good to know then. 9 issues. That's a quick read.
The Upside Down podcast says, could anyone imagine Zach and Hector on Comics and Coffee? Poor Adam will be sitting in the middle, sipping coffee the whole episode. Hector and I did a comic book show together for almost a year.
Yeah.
The Pool was a show that I produced and put together that was on Geek and Sundry for a year. And I love talking about comic books. I've been doing it for a long time. We just can't get people to watch.
Yeah.
It's tough. It's tough. But we wanted to do it anyway, so hopefully you're enjoying.
Plus, it means I get to read more.
Yeah, that's true. War of the Realms, Fantastic Four. This is Dan Slott's Fantastic Four run. This was a great single-issue book. It's a tie-in book to War of the Realms, but it's a great single-issue book that reestablishes where all the characters are right now in the story. So if you have not been reading Fantastic Four, this is a great jumping-on point.
Cool.
It kind of sets up, here's where all the relationships of the characters are, here's what they've been through, here's where, like... And even with that, there's a self-contained story. It's all about Yancey Street and protecting Yancey Street. And it's good. It's really good. And I was surprised that it was really good. Because most of these tie-ins throw things off. Like, I prefer, like, the Giant Man thing where it's saying, let's make a new book for this tie-in series. Or Thor, for instance, because it's directly what set up the War of the Realms. This, I was a little worried about going into it because it's right in the middle of Dan Slott's run, and it's saying do a tie-in. But it did it really well, and it used what was happening to kind of help reestablish who these characters are and why you should be rooting for them. Poor old Franklin Richards, man. Some good scenes in there with Franklin Richards. Yeah.
Oh, no.
It's good.
Yeah. Does
Fantastic Four have a better track record than its film history? Oh, my God. You have
Is
no
that a
idea.
question?
There's a reason so many people fucking love Fantastic Four.
Yeah.
Because there are amazing comic books of the Fantastic Four out there. Jonathan Hickman did a Fantastic Four run. Go read it. It's so good. And honestly, Dan Slott's run right now is really good as well. You just go read it.
Yeah.
Fantastic Four has a much better history in comics than it does in film. It's not even in question.
I think that's the only reason why people get so excited about Fox stuff coming to Marvel Studios is because they're like, does this mean finally we'll get a good Fantastic Four movie? Which I totally understand because they've made 3 movies, technically 4 if you count the 90s one, and they've been meh at best. So...
And it's tough. It's a tough thing, I think, to transfer to film, in especially today's modern superhero. If anyone can do it, it's Feige. So I'm anxious to see if that happens in my lifetime. If anyone could bring Fantastic Four to screen in a way that does justice, it'll be Feige and his team. But I can understand why it's tough because there's so many things there that work in comic books that are hard to make work in a single movie. I mean, they're like Swiss Family Robinson. That's as close as you get. You know, it's like they're multi-dimensional traveling. They're at their best when they're off in the negative zone doing this or that and other crazy stuff. But at its heart, it's family drama and a family dealing with coming to terms with all that stuff.
Which I feel like Marvel Studios has done that. That's kind of been one of the things that they've really done through a lot of their movies.
And Vachinel is correct. It's basically The Incredibles is what FF should have been.
Yeah.
Pretty much. Yep. The Incredibles.
Yep.
I didn't read a single DC book this week. Dog Days of Summer. What you need. 8 Tales of Mammal Mayhem.
Sure.
I picked this up wondering if you would check it out.
Well, if we didn't do a damn trailer reaction in the middle of the day that I had to then edit, I would have probably gotten to it.
Oh, yeah, we did a trailer reaction this morning.
We did.
Sorry, buddy. But it was good. It was good.
The trailer or?
Both.
Yeah.
It was fun. So we did a Death Stranding trailer reaction. It'll be up on YouTube later, so keep an eye out for it. Adam had no idea what he was walking into. It was great.
I thought it was just going to be.
Why are you asking me to be
I thought it was going to be Zach and Matt, and he's like, "No, come do it with us." I'm like, "Okay."
Yeah.
I don't know.
Matt and I were both like, "Oh, we didn't get somebody to do this that knows nothing about it."
You bastards! You got me good.
So good.
This is a cool cover. I saw this earlier.
Dead Kings.
Yeah.
I thought it was a cool cover too.
Oh no.
Okay, I hadn't read anything before it, so I picked it up.
So you just read 5.
I just read 5.
Gotcha.
Which is the end of very clearly one storyline. But
Okay.
that's okay. I got enough from it. There's some interesting things going on, some interesting stuff happening. I like the art style. I like the coloring. The dialogue, like, I say the F word a lot. I have a dirty mouth. I do.
I can vouch for that. I live here.
I do. Sometimes when I'm reading something, though, comic books, you use very few words to get a point across.
Yeah.
So if you're using the F word like 10 times in 5 panels, I start going like, you all know you can like expand your vocabulary there a little bit to get the point across. I understand these are soldiers. I get that. But there's literally, I mean, I can even show you. It kind of blew my mind. There's one scene in particular where I was like, really, y'all? Like, really? This is...
Yeah. I mean, I definitely think that there's, like, the right place. Like, I've been watching a show on Hulu called Letterkenny. It's a show that takes place in Canada, but there's, like, 2 hockey players in the show, and that's, like, every third word is the F word. And I'm like, this very much sort of, like, fits that thing.
I mean, look at this. Oh, thank you, Angel Cruz, for the $1 tip
thank you
on
so
YouTube.
much.
Thank you so much. Did I fucking stutter? And then, get the fuck off me. You're not a fucking...
Yeah.
Who the fuck are you?
Yeah.
You know?
That's like...
And it just keeps going. And it's like, it goes on so much. There's so much of like...
That to me feels like, oh, it's a comic book and we have sort of like open reigns to do whatever we want. Let's just fucking say whatever the fuck we want. I'm like...
I mean, look at this one here. You found me. Fuck, brother, you. I'm like... I don't know what are you doing? There's no subtext there. There's no subtext.
Yeah.
So
a little too much sometimes.
Yeah, I wanted a little bit, I wanted some more subtext and stuff like that. Now, that being said, there were still some interesting aspects of the book. There was some cool stuff that went down. It wasn't bad. It was just one of those things where I was like, oh, okay. All right.
Sure.
Okay. I get it.
Okay.
All right. Cool. You're under an imprint that will let you use the F word, so you use it a lot. You know, it's like when a musician gets off of a label and they're like, yo, we can do 18+ album now. Fuckity fuck. It just goes on and on and on. And you're like, okay, we get it. We get it. You can do
proved
better.
your point.
You proved your point. You don't have to answer to the big dogs
man.
anymore. You can do whatever you want.
Yeah.
You can do whatever you want. Daredevil number 6. Also something I wanted to read so bad. So I read a lot of books today. It seems like I didn't.
You know what we need to do? I feel like on Wednesdays, because this is what happens. Wednesday morning comes, it's like, great, I'm going to load up all the comics for us. And then, like, we got to film this. We have to have this meeting. We got to do this thing. We got to go here and got to run this errand. And I got to go. And, like, I feel like we need to just clear Wednesday morning and be like, Zach and I are on lockdown. Don't bother us. Give us 4 hours to just read everything.
I try. Try telling my boss, though, that a show that doesn't get that many views and doesn't make us that much money is worth me not working on other things throughout the day. Tell my boss.
Your boss, a.k.a. your wife.
Well, she's also my CEO, so you tell her. And I already try. I'm like, all right, I'm reading today. I'm doing this. Don't want to do anything else. And then it's like, you also have to do this. And you have to do this. And you have to do this. And you have to do this. I'm like, oh, okay.
Eventually.
Thank you so much, Precure Queen, for subscribing with Twitch Prime over on the Twitch side. Thank you for that. Really appreciate it. So, but Daredevil number 6 was one I really wanted to read. Didn't get a chance to.
Yeah. I wanted to read this damn Detective Comics annual.
I want to read that too. I love annuals. I love picking up annuals.
Yeah.
They're great. I picked up this just because I like the name, A Cold Blood Samurai.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean,
okay.
I didn't see this earlier, and I'm kind of glad I didn't, because now I'm just like frothing at the mouth. I'm like, I want to read this. This is awesome.
And I also want to read Black Panther number 12 really bad. Especially because it says the Intergalactic Empire of Wakanda. And I'm like,
sign me up, please.
Sign me up.
Thank you very much.
I want to read it. Yeah. Like, I want in on that.
This artwork is great.
You say Intergalactic and Wakanda, and I'm like, yes.
See, this is the difference between, like, this book and the other book that we're looking at that had all the color, right? It's like, it has very simplistic backgrounds, but the character work is so detailed that you're like, yeah, I want to be sucked into this world.
Yeah.
Like, look at this.
This is amazing.
This is so good. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, the color, boom, boom, boom.
Wow.
So great.
That's nice. Me likey. Is that Thanos?
That happened. Yeah, that was during Hickman's run.
Okay.
When they had Thanos entrapped inside of...
That's cool.
That was his son did that to him.
Wow.
Yep.
No shit.
Yep.
That's
Thanos'
cool.
son did that.
Yeah, I remember I started reading the Ta-Nehisi Coates run, and it was so just like rich with so much. It was kind of overwhelming. I didn't expect a comic book to do that, and I think that's why people talked about it so much, and why it had inspired the movie so much, was because it was so rich, and it wasn't just not that all the other comics are, but it had so much depth to it that it was kind of unexpected. I really liked it.
Oh, was that Jim Bartell? Oh, if it was, I didn't see that, but it looked like her art. That's true. It looked like her art. Jim Bartell's great. Black Science number 40.
40, okay.
Yeah, I know.
Okay.
I love Rick Remender, dude. You're going to hear me singing Rick Remender's praises on every episode. I freaking love Remender. He finds the best artists in the biz to work with. Every book is so different and so unique. Check out Black Science if you have not yet. That's all I can really say. Yeah. I'm not super worried about catching up on it. I will read it because I know it's quality, and I love Black Science, and I will keep putting that shit in my veins every time it comes out. So check it out. Ascender number 2, a sequel to Descender, Jeff Lemire, and again, amazing indie work. Don't have too much I can say about it. I want so many things to talk about, but there's only so many hours before this show.
Also, before anyone says anything, we did talk about Batman Last Night on Earth in the beginning.
We did. And I checked out, I think there's only 3 more books to talk about here. A Walk Through Hell from Garth Ennis. Number 10, but I was able to figure out what was going on. Garth Ennis is kind of people are talking about him a lot right now, so I want to check it out and be able to tell you what's going on, because The Boys is coming out soon.
Right.
Preacher is on right now.
Yeah.
Garth Ennis doing something with Aftershock. Aftershock is an indie company that's putting out a lot of interesting work right now and giving creators a chance to do some really interesting stuff. This book, pretty fucking dark.
Okay. Wow.
Ennis is interesting.
Yeah.
I find myself sometimes with Ennis being like, oh, this is great. Oh, wow. And other times, just Ennis, man,
what you trying to do to me?
It can be a little problematic at times
Okay.
With where we are in the world right now. And, I think he's gotten better. And at least he's willing to change and adapt, unlike some comic book people out there like, good old Dark Knight himself. Look, I love his work, but he needs to grow to the modern era. But Garth Ennis is a little bit better at growing. He does change a little bit. There's some interesting stuff in there. Mm-hmm. It's a dark book. It is a dark book.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Andrew Cruz, over on the YouTube end for that $10 tip. Got to use it for one of my favorite channels. I remember first watching Adam and the guys at Superhero News. I look forward to getting into comics now because of you guys.
Yeah.
And you should read those damn comic books.
Thank you,
Read those
Andrew.
damn comic books. I think we should start doing a section where I start telling people, like, all right, go pick up this volume of this book and check it out, because there's so much you could be reading.
Yeah, I agree.
We're talking about books on a week-to-week basis here, and there's probably a lot of people watching right now who are like, and maybe that's what we'll do. I'm going to ask you now.
Yeah.
So if you're in the YouTube chat or the Twitch chat, I want you to say right now, if you don't read comic books, say in the chat what it is you're into, what kind of things you like story-wise. Tell me a couple TV shows you like, what kind of stories you're into. And I will pick one of you randomly in both chats, and I'll tell you what I think you should check out. So I'll get through these books, and then I'll check back in on the chat.
There you go.
Hunted, Part 6, The Amazing Spider-Man, the saga concludes. Okay, so this is the end of Hunted. I really enjoyed the run. Wasn't a huge fan of the final issue of the run.
Oh, that's a bummer.
I was talking to Matt about it. Him and I talk about these books a lot. Matt and I actually talk about comic books a lot. And, I feel like Spencer does really great work when he's figuring out a way to subvert your expectations and find new spins and new takes on things. And there was a lot of stuff in this final issue that felt like I've heard all this before and better. This is the age-old Craven, like, oh, everything you showed me, I see now, blah, 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 who you are, and this is what I was trying to do. And it's like, yeah. We've literally heard, he even references it. This is all one continuity. He's referencing exact things. We've heard these speeches before.
Yeah.
And we've heard how Peter Parker comes out of it. The same age-old through the power of family. Those people make him stronger. That moment has happened so many times in comic books with Spider-Man. It's a good defining moment for his character, but it's been told so many times when it's not done correctly or better than it was done before. It just feels kind of like, okay. I mean, I guess I knew this was how that was going to end.
Yeah.
I saw this coming.
What's another comic book, whether it was like a run of a comic or an arc in a comic, that when you got to the end that you were like, man, I devoted so much of my time reading this, and I wish the payoff would have been stronger.
Don't even get me fucking started about One More Day, Adam.
Oh.
Don't even get me started. This is a collective with comic book people, all right?
I like Breaking Zach.
Oh, don't even get me started about One More Day. It is the freaking years. 8 years?
Jeez.
8 years of Straczynski very clearly building up. You're like, oh, dude, okay, after Civil War, there are some of my favorite moments in Spider-Man history. I have it signed by Straczynski up there in one of those boxes.
Oh, really?
I have Back in Black, signed by Straczynski. He picks up Wilson Fisk is in prison, okay? Peter Parker goes on the news, tells everyone, I'm Peter Parker, I am Spider-Man. Iron Man kind of tricks him into that position. He realizes he was wrong. He gets kicked out of Avengers Mansion because he turns against Tony Stark. Now he's on the fucking run. And he's living in hotel rooms, and he's worried about his family's safety because now everyone knows that kid Peter Parker. Find him. Yeah. Wilson Fisk is in prison, hires a hint man to shoot him. Because of his spider sense, he dodges instinctively. Aunt May gets hit. Aunt May's in the hospital. One of my favorite Peter Parker moments ever. He's like, only has the bottom half of his black suit on, and he's breaking into prison. He's breaking into prison, fighting through all these prison bodyguards without his mask on. And he has a one-on-one against Wilson Fisk. And he's like, I'm not here as Spider-Man. I'm here as Peter Parker to kick your ass, basically. And there's a moment where he picks Wilson Fisk up by his chest skin and just starts doing this.
Oh, my God.
Back and forth. And he basically gets his hand right here next to his throat. And he's like, I could fill your lungs right now, kill you right here and now, but I won't. I'm going to make everyone live with seeing you right now, not lose to Spider-Man, but lose to me. scrawny Peter Parker.
Damn.
And like just puts Wilson Fisk in his place. It's just like one of those moments. It's been building for so long, and Aunt May's in the hospital, and he can't figure out how to save her and all this stuff, and you're just like, yes, fuck that guy. It's one of my favorite comic book moments of all time. And then just a couple issues later, he can't figure out how to save Aunt May. She's dying. He's losing all hope. She should have died. That was what was building up. It was like an undertone to so many things, all the choices Peter Parker's made in his life, what it was setting up for. And there was such a great opportunity to tell a story with Peter that we've never told coming off of that book. Peter and Mary Jane in that book went through being married to being split for a while to reconciling, getting back together, realizing what was important in the relationship. Now Peter's on the run. S.H.I.E.L.D. is after him because he unmasked himself, and everyone knows who he is, so his enemies are looking after him. If they would have let Aunt May die and him and Mary Jane were on the run, that sets up a good couple years of stories that we would have never seen before.
Yeah.
And they wiped it all out with literally a deal with the devil.
What?
So this is one of like the most like head in your hands, like what the fuck just happened? So Peter doesn't make this deal. Mary Jane does.
What?
Peter's trying everything. He can't figure anything out. He goes to Doctor Strange. Everyone's just like, sometimes death just happens.
Yeah.
And that was a great theme, too.
Right.
Like, you can't save everyone.
Right.
You can't save everyone. No matter everything you do, you can't save everyone. And then the final issue of this fucking shit, like, Mary Jane goes to Mephisto and makes a deal. And the deal is basically Mary Jane saves Aunt May's life by making a deal with Mephisto that Peter has no memory of them ever being married, and they're no longer married, and the world will forget that he's Spider-Man. So it just like erased everything.
Oh,
he's no longer
my
unmasked.
God.
Everyone forgets, and
This whole comic
him and
book run
Mary
just
Jane-
like, dang.
It was just like one of those moments where it's just like, I remember exactly when I read this book. It was in 2008. I was sitting, I owned an art gallery at the time, and I had this little like section in the front of the art gallery underneath a little tree house we built, and I had a little couch there, and there was sun coming in from the light. I just got back from the comic book store, and I'm like reading, I think it was like it was a 4-issue run, I think. I'm reading it, and it's just like, put it down. Set it down. I'm like, I'm gonna go drink some coffee. I'm not gonna talk to anyone for the rest of the day. I'm done.
You're so done.
I was so frustrated, and I was like, I knew that they were about to. I knew Straczynski's run was coming in. I knew they were about to start a whole new thing called Brand New Day, and you didn't know what it was gonna entail. But after that, I was just like,
son of a bitch.
Okay, I guess he doesn't remember being with Mary Jane, and they've run with that shit. You know how long they've run with that shit?
Well,
Mary Jane and Peter just started dating.
I'm going to assume it's going to be 11 years now.
They just started dating again. Oh, boy. I'm still triggered by it.
You still have PTSD from that comic book.
I know. And that's the wrong word to use. I'm sorry for people that actually get triggered by things. It's not a real, I don't actually get triggered by it.
Yeah.
But it does frustrate me to think about, because that's one of those things, of all the things, like 8 years of reading those books, an 8-year run.
Well, it kind of feels like a little bit of a betrayal to your commitment.
A little bit.
Yeah.
But you know what? That's part of the lesson here, too, though. They're comic books.
Right.
And that frustration I felt in that moment, it's fun to talk about now and get all worked up about it. But in reality, I kept reading.
Yeah.
And there's been runs since then from Mark Waid that were amazing. There's been short and expensive runs that were fun. There have been some one-offs that have been great. That's the thing. And I have the entire run of every J. Michael Straczynski Spider-Man, all signed by Straczynski, and I can read them whenever I want.
Yeah.
And they still exist. And I can sit there and say that I thought this was ridiculous, but that doesn't mean I don't think new people should keep trying to tell new stories with Spider-Man.
Sure.
And when people try to get really upset about this stuff and say, like, you ruined the character, you did this, you did that, that's not true. Those books still exist.
Yeah.
Nobody can take them away from me. I can still go back and read the books that I connected with, and I know for a fact there's someone out there. Actually, Strawberry 17 is a good example. She first got into reading Spider-Man with Dan Slott's run. So now her favorite version of Spider-Man is Dan Slott's run and Superior Spider-Man and all that stuff. So that's valid, too. That's valid.
Everyone finds, like, their in,
Yeah.
and sometimes that in becomes their favorite because that's all they kind of know.
Yeah. So it's whatever you're into,
Right.
that's totally cool.
Yeah.
I don't actually think that stuff is like, I don't actually get mad about it. I'm not going to threaten people on the freaking internet.
Right.
I'm not going to tweet at people and be like, oh, you ruined my life. I can just go back and I can read Straczynski's books. I can go back and I can read the Happy Birthday issue.
Mm-hmm.
The Happy Birthday issue of Spider-Man is one of my favorite Spider-Man books of all time. Hector and I nearly cry every time we talk about it. We both we go nuts on it. It's like one of my favorite moments in comic books. So
that's cool.
Nobody's taking that away from me.
Yeah. Also, we should give a shout out to Elaki for the $50 tip in the Twitch chat. Thank you so much.
I probably should have done that the whole time.
Yeah, it was up, but it was basically for support towards comics and coffee. So thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Thank you for that. That's greatly appreciated. Now I'm going to go right back to the screen. The one last book that I read this week, War of the Realms, Thor, number 13. It's great. You should check it out, especially at 50% off. It's the story of Kol. Kol is the god of fear. It's Odin's brother, and Odin sends him on a mission to figure out how basically Malekith is getting all his forces around. We already knew that, so this is kind of a little step back in time to show what he found out, how he found out, and there's a great moment in it. It ties directly into Thor's current run, so you can't go wrong with it.
Yeah.
It's freaking great.
Noise.
Yep. So, moving on from that, I want to go through all the books that I did read last week that I caught up on that I told you I was going to catch up on.
Yeah, lay it on me.
Are really great. I continued reading Black Magic. Amazing. I really liked Quincredible. Quest to be the best. This is from an indie publisher. It's freaking great. It's setting up a whole new world of black superheroes in New Orleans.
Nice.
And it's really freaking good. So the whole concept with this is an asteroid hits, a bunch of people get powers. He hasn't told anyone he has powers. And his power is just to be invulnerable.
That's right.
He just can't be hurt.
Yeah.
And he doesn't see how he can be considered a superhero when all these other people have all these big, crazy powers.
Yeah.
And he finds a woman who kind of mentors him, and she's like has this power of light and stuff, and she's one of the well-known heroes in New Orleans. You find an underlying plot of like the police being upset, all this other stuff going on, and there's gang members trying to take down the heroes. And it's just really good. It's fresh. It's a new take on superheroes, and I dig it. I thought it was really good, Volume 1, and I'm excited to keep reading it.
Yeah, because last week, did you read any of it, or just the first part of it, or none of it?
I only knew the basic.
Gotcha.
But I read the whole thing
Gotcha.
over the weekend.
Cool.
I was like, frickin' loved it.
Yeah.
Another one I caught up on, I read this last night, actually, was Highwayman.
Okay.
I liked it a lot. This is a self-contained book.
Oh, is this a one-off?
Self-contained one-off.
I'm about it.
It's a collection of shorts, and it's really cool. It's basically about a man who is immortal, and he just never stops walking the earth.
No way.
And it's just like different stories throughout time
That's
of him
cool.
walking the earth. And
that's cool. I like that.
And then you find out how it all ends and why it happened. But there's
so it has a beginning, middle, and an end.
Oh, yeah, totally.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and you
cool.
find out how it happened, why it happened, and there's others like him.
Yeah.
He's not the only one. But it's
The
not like
highway people.
it's not like Highlander at all.
Sure.
It takes a very zen approach. It's very zen. It's a really calming book to read too, because it doesn't focus on just all the negative. Obviously, the world ends, civilization ends, and he's just walking to see
cool.
no one. He's just traveling the earth. But there's some great stuff in there, and like at the very end, he has to make a choice. And all these other people he comes across, they're like, don't you want to know why? Like, what's going on? And they try to seize the opportunity to control others and stuff. And he's just basically like, I don't want to die.
Yeah.
And they're like, still to this day, no, there's more to see. And they're like, I can assure you, you're the last living thing on the earth. There's nothing left to see. And he's like, I disagree. There's always more to see. And then there's like a final shot of him sitting cross-legged looking at the ocean. And you're just like, damn, man, this is a fucking good book.
That's crazy.
This is a good fucking book.
That sounds really cool. I like taking a concept like that and just making it a one-off instead of just sort of like milking it forever and ever and ever. It's like, look,
good.
we're going to do one book. We're going to tell this one story. We want to do this one particular thing.
It's a graphic novel.
It's a graphic novel.
Le graphique novel.
If this were to be announced in like 6 months as a, well, here's the question. If in 6 months it was announced as a new motion thing.
Like a movie.
A movie or a TV series? Movie. Okay.
I don't think the character in the 90s it would have been a TV show.
Okay.
That's what I would say.
Gotcha.
In the 90s, this could definitely be like one of those sequential shows where they're one-off little stories about the guy,
his new adventures every week,
wandering
basically.
the earth. This is who he meets. It's basically Xena, it's stuff like that,
Gotcha.
But in a one-off book, it's great. It's great. And knowing how that ends, Uber, changes nothing about the story. It only should make you appreciate it more. It's not really a spoiler. You figure out pretty quickly what's going on.
Yeah. No, I love that. I love that idea that at the end, the character, the last thing, there's a lot more meaning of just like, I just want to look at the ocean. It's like, no, I think that's saying a lot about just like
the whole
life.
thing building up to it is really great.
That's cool.
And I didn't tell you why he said that either, and that's important.
The important facts of facts.
I also checked out Matador, which I really enjoyed.
Yeah.
There were a couple. So here's something that's interesting with some of these books when you're reading these indie books. Just like a movie, sometimes you have to separate what's being said with the characters that are saying it, and sometimes characters are going to say problematic things to help sell the world.
Sure.
And you have to question, like, was that the right thing to have them say to help sell that moment? Could have been done another way. And I think this was handled tastefully, but there's like one or two scenes in it where I could see some people in our community being a little like, whoa, I'm a little upset by that. But I felt like in the moment that was the right thing for those characters to say given their worldview. And I don't feel like it's the voice of the author.
Gotcha.
But the book itself is interesting. It's another one-off kind of thing. They might continue it, but I doubt it. It feels very one and done, kind of a graphic novel. The Matador, it's interesting setup. It's definitely a noir kind of crime thing, but with an interesting twist. There's basically this like cloaked figure who people can't see because he's constantly moving and he's always humming, and he's a hitman. But he never speaks, and he's just like this creature that a lot of people don't believe exists. And there's a police officer. She gets caught up in the middle of it all and is trying to get to the bottom of it. And there's a lot of corruption within the police department and corruption with just the world in general, and how he fits into that and stuff like that. And I like that there's certain things that you think are going to be a bigger deal then end up being not a deal at all.
Yeah.
And they kind of like pull the rug out from under you where you're like, it's building. Oh, wait, that wasn't even a thing? I dig that.
That's cool.
So I thought it was great.
Yeah.
I finished reading Middle West and loved everything about it.
Oh, yeah?
I'm gonna keep barreling through Middle West.
Nice.
That one hits really close to home for me, so I'm going to keep that going.
Was that was last week we read
the
Boy
Black
Scouts
Badge.
Black Badge. That's what it was.
Yeah.
That's right.
Thank you, Gwen, for the $25. Comics and coffee, two of my favorite things.
Thank you.
Love this show. It's helped me diversify the comics I choose.
Same.
Heck yeah. Let's see. Gonna go through here, pick out some more that I read last week.
So many War of the Realms.
I know. I read a lot of them. Some of them I may have forgot that I read what I read. But I read a lot.
Yeah. Sometimes I feel like with so many tie-ins to like these greater stories, I feel like I would totally get lost of like, did I read this issue? And then I have to like start going looking at the artwork and going, oh yeah, I did read it.
Well, now comes the part of the show where we figure out what are we going to read. I kind of want to check out an indie book.
Oh, I mean,
I want to check out an indie book.
Look, here's the thing is like, I think it's fun to read Marvel DC stuff. At the same time, I'm kind of like, well, those are the books that everyone hears about. I kind of like the idea of like digging into something that we don't know much about, if at all. Anything.
Yeah. And I don't want to read one I've already read, Uberbaldi. That's dumb. I want to read one I haven't read yet so I can be surprised with you and react to what's happening with you.
Hey.
So I'm thinking maybe The Whispering Dark.
I had a feeling you were going there.
Maybe.
I'm about it.
I don't know anything about it. It could be trash. Maybe Stranger Things. There's also this Daredevil book.
Oh, yeah.
That I don't know anything about. Let's see.
Definitely don't want to read the last issue.
Let's just read the last issue of Heroes in Crisis.
Nay.
Honestly, I'm kind of feeling the one and done Whispering Dark.
Okay.
This is a self-contained story.
Okay.
Self-contained. We don't have to look into anything else. So I'm going to open it up.
We've got... Oh, wow. It's already 6:30.
I know.
Holy crap.
I know, man.
I'm not going to lie. Every time we do this show, I'm kind of like, are we going to be able to fill 2 hours? And then we get an hour and a half into the show, and I look, and I'm like, we have 20 minutes. I don't
worry about it at all. Because I could talk about comic books all
That's
fucking
true.
day.
That's true. I always feel the same way when I talk about movies, and then I realize, like, I've been talking, like...
How long was you in Augie's episode
Hyper
last week?
Heroes episode was 1 hour and 40 minutes. And we were like, there's no way. There's no way that's possible. There's no way we just talked for an hour and 40 minutes. Sure enough, I looked at the length of the video. It was an hour and 40 minutes. And I was like, how did we manage to do that without Hector here? I don't know. That's amazing.
But this is what we're listening to.
Oh, pump this into my veins.
Send it to us.
Region 1 or A.
Send it to us right
My
now.
birthday's on June 14th.
The Thing is one of my favorites. It's so good.
So good.
The Whispering Dark. Okay. Next. There we go. Okay. Be careful. Let the light in. Let the light in you be darkness. Oh, that sounds like something I did in Kolok recently. Shit.
Zach sold.
Okay. Okay. Some bones and. All right. Little different than I expected already. So let's get into it. This is what I signed up for, Dad. To make a difference.
I'm sure many who went to Vietnam and Iraq felt the same way.
So we should just let them suffer? Tell them to turn the other cheek?
I don't see how sending soldiers, tanks, and warplanes will lessen the suffering.
All that is necessary for the triumph of evil is...
I taught you better than to hide behind quotes, Hannah. Evil is an insidious thing. It takes many forms, not all of them obvious.
But some are, Dad. I refuse to believe that God wants me to ignore them.
He loves you, whatever you do, dearest daughter of mine.
Oh, he's a preacher, too. I saw that. Yeah,
And I do, too.
That's still you.
Oh, now, let's go see what your mom has cooked up for us, shall we?
We spent the first 2 months in country flying dust-offs. I wasn't sure I'd ever be ready to see real combat, or if I really wanted to. And then SOCOM asked if we could go lift out a Ranger RRC team from deep inside enemy territory. It should have been a Night Stalker mission, but they were short on functioning choppers. So Captain Danvers volunteered us. Oh no! We made it to the LZ without contact. Picked up the Rangers and headed for home. All good. Crap. The AA opened up, no warning. Blew our Apache escort clean out of the sky. And then us. Captain Danvers died in the crash. I can't get out! It's stuck!
Hang on!
I know I should have taken his tags. There's a lot of things I should have done that I didn't. Everyone wants to be the hero in their own story, but that's rarely how things turn out. Those Rangers have been counting on us, had been on continuous ops for weeks, doing God knows what to the Russians. I wasn't just recon, that much I know.
Good. Did you find Lee?
Home plate, this is batter 3-6, over. Home plate, this is batter 3-6, come in, over.
Over you.
Whatever it was, I made them really anxious to get out of there.
No, Top. Just the pilot. Dead.
Chances of a CSAR coming for us were slim to none. And the Rangers knew it. But we had to try.
At least we're still here. We should look for Lee.
Reception's fucked! I was taught that death can be a beautiful thing. Sad, but beautiful. God calling us home.
Yeah, we...
But there is nothing beautiful about death.
That's why you don't stand up.
Move! Move! It's just sudden, ugly, and crass.
Hey, Chief, here!
Danvers used to call them go pills. I didn't like how they made everything sort of brittle.
Keep you awake and sharp. Sort of.
I know. Thanks.
Getting high on Uncle Sam's supply. Let me know if you need more. I got plenty of these babies.
But I took them anyway.
What's your name, Chief?
Hannah. Hannah Vance.
Gotcha. I'm Rodrigo, but you best call me Doc, like the rest of these misfits.
Brittle was better than dead, and it was all I could do to keep pace with the Rangers.
Whoa!
I did, though, and part of me was proud.
Guess the fuckers found my claymores. Keep moving.
Of course, pride is a sin. Some say a deadly one. And in the end, we all have to atone for our sins.
We've shaken them for now, Lieutenant. We should loop around and look for Lee.
Yeah, how's your leg, Bergen?
Doc gave me some morphine, so it's all soft edges. I'll manage. Let's do it.
Wait. What?
We're going back for Lee.
What? No, we need to get out of here.
We're not leaving anyone behind, Sergeant. If there's a chance Lee is still alive, we have to go look.
But he's dead. Lee is dead. Dead, you sure? He was hit in the head by that first salvo. I tried to grab him, but he fell out just before we crashed when we took that sharp turn. I'm sorry.
Fuck. All right, then. We go for higher ground, see if we can get comms. Let's move out.
And we marched. It was hard going, and I was grateful because it left little time to think of the dead. But we never got any reception, so we kept going. I must have been around 0400 hours when it detonated. I wonder what the people in Hiroshima and Nagasaki thought when they first saw the light.
Fuck me.
Beautiful. Did they think it was God? Oh, shit.
What the fuck?
Find cover! Oh, avalanche. The heat was intense, and the shockwave hit us like a freight train. But the blast also triggered some sort of earthquake. The ground wouldn't stop shaking. Bergen lost it completely.
It hurts! I wanted to stop! Oh, it hurts! Oh, God, it hurts!
Hush! I thought it was the morphine and the go pills combined. Never mix beer and wine and all that. Now I know better. What the fuck?
It's quiet again. Fuck. My head hurts.
And then, just like that, it stopped. Was that a nuke?
Over here, people.
But for us, it was just the beginning.
Damn. Radio is out. EMP must have fried it. Or that tree did it in. Check your electronics.
My goggles are dead.
The GPS too.
I never wanted to be an officer,
Okay, that's it. We surrender.
but I always wanted to fly. And to become a pilot, you have to be a warrant officer. The hell we do? We go on, cross the mountains to the southeast.
That's what, 100 miles through enemy fucking territory? We have no supplies, no extreme weather gear, our GPS is junk, and to top it all off, this little war just went fucking nuclear.
It hurts.
As you...
We surrender. We die. We haven't exactly made any friends around here lately. They'll execute us on the spot. So I went with the program. I did what was required.
Is everyone taking crazy pills here? If we surrender, we have a chance. We'll die in those mountains.
And hope deep down that I never receive an actual command. Seems pretty stupid now, right? No one here is surrendering.
I outrank you, Specialist, and I say we do.
Make me. Because there it was.
Whoa! Cut this out! Cut this shit out! If I'm not mistaken, Chief Warrant Officer Vance here is now ranking officer. She decides.
The command I never wanted. What? Me?
Come on, Chief. You gotta see sense. We're not trained like these guys. We're not even sore. We won't last a day in those mountains.
Don't worry, big guy. I'll look after you. What'll it be, Chief?
Hurts.
Norton was probably right. But Watts seemed so certain, and I couldn't do it. I couldn't just give in. I thought God was testing me, testing us. We go through the mountains, and I didn't want to be weighed and found wanting. We buried the lieutenant the best we could. Is nobody going to say something?
Lieutenant, Michael Sawyer was a good officer, a good ranger, and fuck, I don't know.
The Lord is my shepherd. I shall not want. It was more than the others got. Our plan was to make for a mountain pass that would take us to the next valley, where we hoped to make contact with the other NATO units. He maketh me to lie down in green pastures. He restoreth my soul. He leadeth me in the path of righteousness. But we needed warmer clothes and provisions. In the meantime, we may do with the go pills. Nothing bad's gonna happen out of that, definitely.
Nah.
Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil. It was about 5 or 6 days' march to the mountain pass, assuming Bergen's wound didn't get worse. For thou art with me, thy rod and thy staff, they comfort me, assuming a lot of things. When I grew up, my brothers used to hunt rabbits with a scope 22. I went with them sometimes.
Fresh conscripts. Has to be. Or local militia.
Guess nobody told them about us. But they never let me use the rifle. So I'd take it out myself. And I did target practice on cans and stuff. I say we ambush them. Take their arms and supplies.
Are you out of your fucking mind? A single shot and their friends will be here in less time than it'll take to say, shit, fuck!
Then you could surrender to them, couldn't you? I'm not saying we shoot them, Sergeant. I was pretty good. Look, their watchman is practically asleep already. I'll take him out. Perez, you take the guy on the right, and I'll follow up with the last one. And then one day, I wanted to try the real thing. Just give the word, Chief.
I still say we go around. Too much of a risk.
I wanted to hunt something. And kill it.
Oh, shit.
I went across the creek to the open field beyond looking for rabbits. I couldn't find any. Instead, I found a blackbird sitting alone on a branch in one of our apple trees. You sure you can do it quietly? We've done this before. I shot it right in the head, and maybe 30 yards. When I ran up to marvel at my handiwork, I found the bird lying in the grass, still in spasms, half its head gone. Okay, do it. The other half was perfectly preserved, its single eye staring up at me. It was shiny black with a light blue ring. There was no accusation there, just surprise. The poor thing was dying and had no clue why. That night I cried myself to sleep. One question repeating itself over and over in my head. Would God understand? Fuck. Would he forgive me?
Dang, ambushed.
Fuck! I vowed then to never hurt a living thing again, for as long as I lived. But we make a lot of promises when we were kids, don't we? They're always for life. And we always end up breaking them. I tried to rationalize what I saw during the ambush.
Out of the way!
I've been in a war zone for more than 2 months. I just survived being shot down. I'd seen death up close. And I knew the go pills were messing with me. Like I said, they made me really brittle. Oh, fuck!
What the fuck?
Oh, shit!
What? What?
Okay. And that word wasn't really, it was reality. And that's, whoa, okay, all right, cool. Thank you, Thing soundtrack. This is perfect.
This is amazing.
But that didn't make what I saw any less frightening. And I never knew if Watts despised or respected me. You can open your eyes now. Never. Dawn was just a couple hours away, and we made ready to move out again. Here, Chief. I'll show you how to use it later. I tried to come to terms with the fact that the ambush was a bust.
Meager fucking supplies won't last us a day.
Well, at least we got ourselves some more weapons. We should move out. Chief, I just caused the death of 3 young men over a few cans of field rations. Yeah. Let's get out of here. God might have forgiven me for that blackbird. But I was pretty sure he wouldn't forgive me for this. This is some heavy shit.
Damn,
this is some heavy
bro.
shit right now.
Heavy, but this soundtrack is
Perfect.
with this. Damn, I was not expecting it to be that good.
Okay. Part of me wished I was more like the Rangers. They'd lost friends. They'd killed. And they kept going. If they felt any guilt, they didn't show it. I thought it would be different, not like this. They were just kids.
Well, Chief, you ordered the ambush.
Roughly 9 hours had passed since the crash, but it already felt like a lifetime. I know, I want to go home.
We'll never get home.
We still had many more days to go. Those boys never had a chance.
Were you trying to impress Watts? That ranger? She's a murderer, Hannah, and so are you now. Remember what I said, dearest daughter of mine. The fuck? Evil is an insidious thing. Oh!
Okay.
Okay.
We marched for 3 days, surviving on a steady diet of go pills and nothing. For 3 days, we didn't see anyone else. I tried counting the hours I'd slept, but there were too few to bother.
One thing to keep in mind is that the AK doesn't have a bolt catch. So, after changing mag, you have to pull the charging handle to chamber a new round.
We should have rationed what little food we got from the ambush. But by the time I thought of that, it was all gone. Okay. You know the selector goes to full auto first, right? Yeah.
Guys, over here.
Besides food and the ever-present enemy, the biggest challenge was navigation. We were headed beyond the area covered by our field maps. All we had was a large-scale map of the entire AO. That only helped us identify a possible pass through the mountains.
How about some juicy venison for breakfast?
Looks like it died of fright. Some sort of road went through there, but we had no clue whether it'd be passable. We just had to take our chances.
Yeah, I wonder what killed it. The fuck?
If we ever made it that far.
That's not fucking natural.
So much for breakfast. Let's move on. They followed as long as I led them in the direction they wanted to go. They dreaded the time when that wouldn't be the case. Doc Perez kept us going with uppers, painkillers, and bad jokes. Nothing seemed to really bother him, or if it did, he didn't show it. Bergen kept muttering to himself, incoherent, rambling stuff. We blamed the fever, but the things he still made me anxious. So I learned to shut them out.
Keep myself mentally alert. What if she sees me?
I didn't know Norton that well, but I could see that he clearly was out of his element, same as me. I enlisted because I wanted to fly, not be a ground pounder. But part of me couldn't help but admire a warrior like Watts. I wonder what it's like to live without doubt. I wasn't naive, you know. I'd read and seen enough to know what I signed up for. To know what war is, what it does to us. Man has a capacity for violence, for hurting others.
That's Cyrillic.
It's a seed we all carry, dormant until quickened, starting as faint as a whisper, titillating our most base emotions. That could be one of ours. Hatred, wrath, cruelty, cowardice. It looks like Lee. You said you saw him die, Sergeant.
I saw him fall.
Bullshit! Hit in the head, you said. Look, war feeds them all, relentlessly turning that whisper into a shrill scream.
Oh, shit.
No, I wasn't naive. My sin was hubris. God spoke to me already. How could there possibly be room for another voice? Another whisper? But God's voice can be fickle. It too needs to be fed and nurtured. And most of all, it needs to be listened to. And as I witnessed the Russians execute those poor people, I realized I hadn't listened to him for some time. Maybe not since the ambush. Maybe even before that. And now he was quiet. Instead, there was that whisper, just on the edge of hearing. The sound of dead grass burning. Seductive, like a soft breath at the back of your neck. Urging me to hate, to hurt. I tried not to listen, tried to ignore the whisper the way I did Bergen's fevered ramblings, but it persisted. Yeah, hubris was my sin. To think that war wouldn't affect me like it does everyone.
Oh, shit.
Watts, wait. Oof! You fucking liar!
I didn't...
He was one of ours, you piece of shit! Wait, stop it! Get off him! She broke my nose.
Fuck.
And for a moment, just for a moment, I wanted to kill her, to pull my knife and shove it in her throat. That moment passed, luckily, but something still snapped and broke inside me. I'm gonna fucking gut you, you useless fucking coward.
Please. I'm sorry. Don't.
Stop it. Break it up. I stopped caring. And I knew it wouldn't be long before God spoke to me again. It would be a long time. Step aside, Doc.
Put the knife away, Ozzy. We're all on the same side here. Ugh. Crazy bitch.
Just shut up, Sergeant.
We're gonna die. What?
We're all gonna die. Oh, God, she's watching. She's watching.
Hush.
What the fuck, Doc?
He's hallucinating. You could fry an egg on his forehead.
So do something.
I've done what I can with what I have.
How is he?
He needs a hospital. I'm out of options here.
So we should get moving. First, we bury Lee. No, if the Russians come back, they'll know someone was here. If courage is doing what you fear, then saying no to her was the most courageous thing I'd ever done.
I hate to say it, but she's right, Ozzy. We need to steer clear. We need to clear out stack.
Fuck, fine. Just keep that fucking coward out of my face. But Watts was nothing if not rational, at least then. And on went. On we went, half-starved and strung out beyond all reason. The farm had probably stood there for generations, passing from father to son, families subsisting off the land. Their lives defined by the seasons, a never-ending cycle broken only by storms and failed crops, and war. Nobody said anything. We just quietly and collectively decided that we could search the place for food and maybe some warm clothes. We convinced ourselves that nobody lived there.
Looks abandoned.
How else could we justify barging in on something we had no right going?
Wonder what that sign's about.
Looks like it was done recently.
As tags go, I've seen better.
What are we waiting for? Maybe someone lives here. Not a chance, Chief. Look at this place. Come on. It was a thin lie, and we all knew it. But like I said, I had stopped caring. Watch Bergen and look around. Maybe there's a vehicle, some kind we can use.
We shouldn't be here. Tell me about it. Crap, not abandoned.
I got 3 civvies. Watch that rifle. Sorry for the intrusion. You speak English?
Hit. I talk little. I don't know why I assumed they were Russian.
Oh, no, don't do it. They're in Russia?
I don't know. Well, maybe.
They said Russia.
Yeah.
Hands off, kid.
Stole. Sure.
No. Drop it now.
Hey, everyone, calm down. Oh, it's you.
No, that's you.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Tell him to drop the gun.
What's the fuck he's saying?
Calm down, everyone. Easy now. Let's just get out of here.
I had a sudden sense of reversal, as if it was my dad standing there in front of me, and me and my brother sitting at the table with foreign soldiers invading our home. It lasted only for a moment. Oh, I don't want to turn the page. No! I knew it! Fuck. Fuck. Fuck.
Okay.
And then it was over. No, don't. We'll take her with us. You crazy, Chief? What good can she do?
We gotta get the fuck out of here.
I guess I still cared a little. Our maps don't cover where we're going. The girl lives here, knows the area. And yet, maybe the humane thing would have been to let Watts end it. Let the girl join her family. Fine, but I'm not looking after her.
Damn, what happened?
Did you find anything?
Yeah, an old truck. It's a clunker, but we got it started.
That thought really did come to me, like a whisper. Soft. Then let's get out of here, Perez. You take the girl. Take what food and warm clothes you can find. Seductive. Brutal. We grabbed what we could. I found a jacket. As we drove away, I realized I just killed a man. It bothered me that I didn't feel anything. No revulsion, no regret, nothing. Had I really strayed that far in just a few days? We hoped to make it to the mountain pass before nightfall. Doc handed out more Go pills. I took them. We all did. I'm going to stop there.
Okay.
I think that's a good stopping spot. We're going to stop right there.
That shit's crazy.
Because Rat Queens is coming up. It's a Rat Queen special tonight. It's going to be not nearly as fucked up and dark as that is. I'm going to keep reading this book, though.
Yep.
Because that's some dark shit.
I feel like we should just keep reading after this.
Woo! Woo! Oh, boy.
Also, this soundtrack is the shit for this.
I don't think it's the thing anymore.
No.
I think it moved
I don't know
on.
what this is.
I don't know what this is.
This got a little too upbeat.
It's from...
Ramin Djawadi. Oh, is this Game of Thrones?
No, this is Westworld.
Westworld, okay.
Yeah. But
that
starting off the
soundtrack
thing
for the thing
soundtrack
was
whoo!
Pizza Chef.
Shit. I love indie comics. Y'all pick
So
up some
good.
comic books.
So good.
This was Comics and Coffee, where we talk about comic books and drink some coffee.
Yeah, party and hang out, you know what I mean?
Thank you guys so much. So much for joining us on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. You all are amazing. I'm excited for Rat Queens tonight. We have a special guest GM. Riley is GMing, and Janelle and Malika are going to be guests on the episode. It's a flashback episode.
Nice.
I'm just trying to
I know. That comic was intense as hell. It went to places that I didn't think it was going to go, and the visual representation, I was just like, wow, this is really, really damn good.
I hated turning the page on them shooting the family.
That was terrifying.
I knew it was going to happen.
Yeah.
I knew it was going to happen.
Like, no, don't do this thing. Are you really going to do this? Are you going to go? You did. Yes. Son of a bitch. It was
but
great,
that reveal of the monster, the way she sees it,
that was
I know
cool.
that's going to come back.
Yeah.
I know that
for sure.
That stuff's coming back, and it's going to come back in a big way.
Yep.
In a really big way.
Yeah.
So thank you all so much for tuning in. If you dig Comics and Coffee, make sure to tweet at us at @hyper_RPG. Tell us what books you picked up this week. Keep the conversation going online. I will continue reading all the books that we picked up this week and let you know next week what I thought about them. And tell your friends. Join us here.
Tell your friends. Tell everyone.
And we'll make this one unlisted later.
Yeah. Or we'll make it live, not unlisted.
Send it to Patreon first. Let them have it for a day or two, and then we'll let it go.
Let it go. Baby.
All right, so I think all I have to do to take this down is this whole ordeal. I mean, we're just gonna take our headsets off and go back to the weight screen.
We're just gonna party. You know what I'm saying?
We're gonna go to this weight screen, and people on Twitch, get ready for
Rat
Queens. It's coming up in just a moment. And people on YouTube and Facebook, head
Jump
over to
over. Jump over.
twitch.tv/hyperRPG. Keep the comic book love going for Rat Queens tonight. Woo!